Welcome to the Numerology and Astrology for July 14th, 2021. My name is Suzanne Wagner and I do a daily numerology and astrology blog, so thank you for finding me and I hope you enjoy these. If we add all those numbers together today, we get the number 17, and if you add the 1 and the 7 together, you get the number 8. Now, the number 8 is a number that is related to sorrow and loss and grieving and really bringing up kind of the heavier emotions. And the number 8 is associated with our lung meridian, and it's related to breathing and prana and making sure you take a deep breath and count to 10 before you move forward. And the number 8 determines the mood and the tone and the temperament of this day. On one level, we can allow the mood to tear us down or use the emotions that arise to make us better. Sometimes we have to be pushed to make the necessary changes, but being pushed, whether internally or externally, will tend to bring up our side that wants to be angry and push back. What if we just skip that part and surrender into what we know we need to do instead? It's okay to be sad, mad, frustrated, but we are all still going to have to do the obvious when it presents. When confronted, it is our attitude that we might need to question and adjust. If we know it is the right thing to do, then we should make a choice to stop resisting and embrace the moment. Resisting is completely emotionally exhausting. Resisting depletes our reserves that we will need to be used for bigger things at a later time. The Astrology Today. The moon resides in the intellectual and organizing sign of Virgo all day, and it will connect in a positive way with Uranus early on to bring more energy to the activities that are needed. Options may appear out of nowhere, and we would be wise to take heed of those possibilities. What is clear is that the details continue to matter, and the tasks are important to complete. Order follows clear intention with action backing it up. Situations are making us look at how things are flowing right now because of the Sun and Neptune being in a more positive connection. Dreams seem something that can and will eventually come our way. If we can relax, that will allow those flows to bring them towards us. This life can have a more fluid and graceful theme if we allow it to take us along this new path. My quote for today. Order follows clear intention, but it is important to have a bit of action backing it up. And my blog for today. Hail to the rebels and those who determined that things could be different. Hail to those who pushed back when those who promised to protect and to serve lied intentionally to keep those who intended to make this world better under the thumbs of the powerful and the wealthy. That is what all this chaos and subterfuge is about, confusing the minds of those who are not skilled enough to know better into collapsing, so they unintentionally harm themselves, postpone education, and keep themselves in work situations that allow others to underpay them, demean them, use them, and put them at risk. Today, we have organic food in every grocery store because of the movements of the 1960s and 70s. Here's to those who refuse to believe the rhetoric being advertised around the 1950s. I have a friend who collects magazine ads from the 40s and 50s, and he has one on his wall that says, DDT is good for me. And that was a real advertisement in the magazines. You know, this has been all this rhetoric and the lies and the manipulation through advertising has been going on forever. So this is not news, but we need to get more educated about it. Solar energy was kept afloat and alive because of the organic produce farms wanting to implement clean energy systems into their products to make them cheaper to produce and then be able to compete in the markets. Solar was also supported by the off-the-grid movement, where people were going back to the land and wanting to live self-sufficiently. The energy markets have spent billions of dollars in the last 60 years trying to undermine the green energy movement. But it was the rebels and those that knew what they saw rather than choosing to believe in the toxic words of the wealthy. Those words were designed to pull humanity into the clutches of big oil. The alternative energy systems quietly determined that there were better solutions, and they found an audience that would pay the extra expense now for freedom and clean energy later. It is to the credit of those who stood outside the conventional and refused to conform that we still have certain things available today. I praise those who sought out alternative solutions that now have finally paved inroads to save this beautiful world. It is all about putting our money towards what we believe can help and heal this world rather than spend it on the, I won't say the bad word. It is a personal choice. I remember spending money on organic produce when it did not look as nice as it does now. I remember the moment when I discovered that apples were one of the crops most sprayed with pesticides, and that was probably why I never liked apples as a kid, nor apple juice. It always had a toxic and bitter taste to it for me. I can never forget finally tasting an apple organically grown. It was smaller than conventional farming, but sweeter and so yummy, and it did not make me feel ill. So here to those that stood up quietly and just kept doing what they felt was right. We need more of that at this time in history. That is what it is all about. Truth does not need to be yelled from the highest tower. Truth just needs to be followed from inside our core. We do it because it is the right thing to do. We do it because it makes us feel as if in our small way we can save energy, the animals in this world. We do it because our conscience tells us to. We do it because we want to leave this world a bit better off than we found it. Thanks, everyone.